It was all the 0-7 Ash, in my mind, that set up that play from Dark Passage. The bait came in, Smurf took it, and then just got absolutely destroyed.
I like that 14% brand ban. That means that Albus NoX have played 14%. That's 14% of the games played have been by Albus NoX. Also taking away that Jhin. First ban of the tournament, actually. Not going to get that in the hands of a Miracle. So understanding there's more than just Brand and Bard that you have to take away from this lineup. Looks like Gangplank with the last one for INTZ. Of course, Cassiopeia and Siva. Albus NoX's choice of bans waiting for their last one here.
Yeah, and it just shows that they really value the Gnar here, so we'll see whether ANX get rid of that. I keep going back to that I think that the Bard is actually stronger than the Brand because it does just as much damage in the hands of Lecrit.
Well, one of the issues we saw, Lecrit, he seemed quite out of practice of the Bard when it was finally let through. Constantly, they're just going to first pick it straight up INTZ. Yep. They do not want that in the hands of Lecrit.
And I kind of think that was given over because you can kind of trade the Gnar for the Bard, make them make the hard choice. But as soon as that was left up, they had to take it away. See whether a Taric comes out, although Taric versus Bard is a really hard matchup. Generally, you play something like a Karma into it.
Yeah.
Or a Braum, because Braum wrecks some Eep Slap and doesn't let the Q go through, Cosmic Binding. As Kira has a big yawn on stage and is frowning now.
He's looking at a ban list and he is not happy. He's like, why do they do this? Let us get Brand. If it's open, we pick it, we win. That's their game plan going into every game until shown otherwise. But that allows Albus NoX to get two very strong champions here if they decide to lock in that Shen as well as the Rex. Unfortunately, Shen didn't work out too well for Rampage in the last game, but let's see if Smurf can make it happen. Yeah,
and this is really cool because, we used to see a lot of Shen Hecarim, and it was because Shen would get onto the backline, guaranteed. Hecarim would take him there. You cannot keep him out. Rek'Sai, also really hard to keep out. I mean, Tunnel, Flash on Burrow, there are just so many tools to get Rek'Sai onto a backline, and has the CC that when Shen does get delivered, if done properly, can layer and chain incredibly well. And as I said, the game plan behind ANX is it's nothing to do with champions. It's just about how they work with teamwork. So I really like that this is the combo that they're going for because all of a sudden, big beefy frontline, everyone else can play damage, and we know that Lecrit likes to do it.
Well, let's see what damage they have left in their arsenal. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what INTZ go for in this second rotation of their picks. First picking that Bard. Haven't seen it on Joxers yet, but I'm sure every support here is well-versed in a myriad of champions.
Yeah, I think that you have to take Vladimir here, but then it also leaves Karma open, and I think that Karma would be a really good support right now for ANX because all of a sudden you get a speed up that's not available through a Siva, and it would help them out. Kira is a great Anivia player, was seen as one of the oldest counter picks to this new Vladimir, if you can play it well. Faker was playing it a lot, not to liken Kira to Faker, but for this one champion I will. He's a very good Anivia player. Showed it all IWCA, all of IWCI as well.
It was an absolute treat to watch, and it's been great as well. We've kind of seen that reimagined in his Talia play. His walls have always been on point, but the Malzahar seems to be the safe choice. We've seen him play into Vlad before and do quite well.
Yeah, well, the reason that is percentage health, equal shove, all the good things that can come out. Ash also joining it, so great initiation in this comp. Really good CC. Maybe lacks a little bit of damage, but as soon as Kira gets online, that should be recovered. Big chuckle coming out right now.
Yeah,
we saw a Varus 80 carry in the LPL, so don't be surprised if it does get locked in. Actually, be really surprised against the lineup they have. But in saying that, it has been played internationally, so if it's been played in the LPL, it can be played anywhere. That's the rule, isn't it?
Well, look, the LPL, bit of a trendsetters here and there, and they do like their fringe picks.
It was played in game, pretty much the final game as well. So that was interesting. Cogmore's not something we've seen a lot of.
True.
We're seeing a lot of popularity internationally. Twitch and Cog 2 hyper carries that can really, if set up well, get going. In saying that against an Ashe, brave pick.
Yeah, definitely that. But we've seen Ezreal kind of do quite well, but also have a bit of trouble here. Going with that Echo in the top lane as well. And once again, Albus NoX leaving that last pick to Licrit, to the support, to the real carry of this roster. And like you said, two men with glorious hair as he locks in the Taric.
And I really don't like the Ezreal for that reason. That's what I was going to say. All of a sudden, their lane isn't all of that. It's got a great, until first shop, they should be able to bully. But after that, wave clear just isn't there for the INTZ lineup. And it just opens the door for the Taric because all of a sudden it's a shoving lane for Miracle. And, then Lecrit can just scale up and do what he does best late game. And now you're making pretty much 2 squads invulnerable. He's going to give it to the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai Shen's going to be invulnerable on the back line. And then the front, when they dive the back line, and then their back line going to be very safe. I think that's a little bit of a miscalculation coming out of the INTZ lineup.
It looks like we're going to see a battle of the supports, but when Licrit's on the team, you always have to step up if you're in that opposing role here. It's going to be Joxer taking on Licrit.
Yeah, and Joxer's got his work cut out with Mikau.
Yeah.
I mean, going into this one, they said that they have proven that they're the best team, best bottom lane in Brazil. Really looking forward to seeing if they can prove that as they go toe-to-toe against Miracle and Licrit.
It's going to be a very tough battle. We know that Licrit, time and time again, we've been singing him words of praise. But on this Taric, not the hyper carry that he's normally used to, but in one of his games, they were constantly just trying to dive this ANX bot lane, and Taric ulti just coming in perfectly, denying all damage.
Yeah, really does. He's, as I said, he's a really good timing-based player. And, Taric definitely fits in that wheelhouse. INTZ have a good scaling comp. I mean, if they get to late game, I keep saying this, if they get to late game, they're going to be fine. It's just getting there that's a problem.
Alrighty, guys, jumping into game number 2 of day number 5 of the International Wildcard Qualifiers. INTZ taking on Albus NoX Luna. And already we see a little bit of shenanigans maybe coming out from ANX.
Yeah, this is nice. I mean, they know that the Bard can be aggressive level 1. Has been spotted out now.
Gets the stun onto Licrit, but Kira's passive helps him through that one. Should give ample time for INTZ to make their way in onto the top side of the jungle and get some wards down.
So they'll at least know where PvP Steakhouse is starting. It's very fair to say if he doesn't go to the Krugs, he's starting red buff. General rule. Oh, that's brave, Talkers. Yep, no, good. He got it. General rule is if he goes to the Krugs, he's going to look to one side clear and gank top half of the map. If he goes red to Raptors, to something like the Gromp, then he's going to do a bottom side gank or an invade. Just because Rek'Sai does clear incredibly fast and healthy on AoE camps due to the Q. But looks like heading towards potentially the Krug start.
You can see Miracle went for that Warlord Bloodlust, so knows that he's going to be taking a lot of harass in this bot lane and wants to be able to sustain himself back up. But looks like neither of the bot lane is actually going for their camps.
The best thing about the Warlord Bloodlust on Ashe is the fact that you can go IE into double ZL as Lecrit actually battling.
Just straight up brawling right now. Is going to take a stun coming from Joxter though.
So a lot of the damage went to Lecrit versus the damage that went to Mikau. So that's generally in the support favor because he gets to start. He actually started a refillable potion. Okay, that's not in their favor because refillable potion only has 2 charges. And that is very unorthodox out of the support player of ANX.
Quite peculiar. To see what he ends up. Is it if he'll go into a corrupting or if he'll just hold on to it for a while?
I think you just hold on to it because you acknowledge that you're going to take the harass and you want to be a pushing lane, right?
Makes sense.
Maybe they're just looking for quick recalls, get double longswords, come back into the lane, really start to bully up. Because as I said, as Ashe gets recalls in, should be able to take it to Mikau and Joxter. But as of right now, as is Bizarro bottom lane.
Both hitting level 2 around the same time. Joxter's going to start up a farm of heals and Licrit bonding them.
I wonder if he runs any magic mana regen, because that would be one explanation to it, right? You only need to use it if you take incredibly bad trades. As Joxter looking to mess with the Rek'Sai just a little bit. PvP Steos actually taking his blue buff. Generally, if you're against a pusher like Vlad, you want to give it over as early as possible to Kira, just so he can match the push. Because you can see right now, he's already being punished because he had to take Q level 1. And W or E is definitely the preference. I start W against Vladimir all the time, just because, you get some auto attacks out onto the creeps and you get some Voidlings going. But this is going to turn into a rough lane. I mean, if anyone knows it, it's Kira. He did a number on the Chiefs in their first game.
It does quite a good job on that Malzahar, but Malzahar quite easy to do a good job on. Just chuck down your ulti. It's whether or not you can kind of survive this lane, like you said. Vlad's going to have quite an easy time pushing him out, and a low mana.
This is a good gank. All of a sudden, Yang, he's being shoved in on. He should know that something is coming. This is one of the standard gank paths of Rek'Sai. And the taunt missed just then, so, you know, right now, that's a dead giveaway.
We still might go for it here. Knockup comes through, but there's a parallel conversion. Gets the double stun Yang. Just going to walk himself to safety.
Yeah, that's really nice out of Yang. I mean, he probably would have been in a little bit more trouble if it landed there, the taunt, but it didn't. Now we have a gang coming in the bottom lane.
Oh, Miracle just forces the flash, but the flash comes through, stuns onto Revolta. Joxers can't find something. One more auto attack should do it. Who's going to get it? First Blood goes over to Macau.
And that's really nicely done from Revolta. We already said that, you know, he has to be active on one side of the map. All of a sudden, PvP Stayhouse goes top lane, telegraph gank, avoided by Yang, and they pick up the first blood on the AD carry.
Look, great stuff coming out from INTZ, seeming very switched on, understanding their win conditions and how to achieve them. So for the first time in what feels like a while, ANX on the back foot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're 800 gold down. That's going to be a free tier coming out of the Ezreal whenever he wants to go back. PvP Stayhouse doing actually a good job of counter jungling there, but Yang, actually, because he preserved the flash, I guess it's fair to say, can just teleport back into this lane. You know, with the couple of rings, is going to be incredibly healthy and hard to gank now.
No recall yet for Smurf, so got to be careful. As
Smurf should take this opportunity to recall. One of the reasons is that Echo, now that he has this amount of, I guess, sustain built up through the rings, is a huge shoving top laner. And, you know, when it gets underneath your turret as Shen, it's actually really hard for you to follow up a gank because you don't want to leave that farm. So the more of these that are being thrown out, the rougher it actually is for Smurf. He's not really going to be in any threat of dying. It's not about that. It's about the threat of just being shoved in over and over again and not being able to help out the rest of your team.
River control in favor of INTZ. You can see Joxers just scanning up and down there, looking for any wards lying about, and Miracle, no summoners in the bot, no exhaust.
Kira's in trouble. His shield's gone. Low on mana. Has to back away.
Yeah, he knows it.
I mean, he warded over the wall and was immediately spotted out where Revolta was. Now PvP Stayhouse going to try and contest.
Revolta going to smite that one away. Gives himself the Wolf Spirit here, so that's going to keep eyes on Stayos in his own jungle. Revolta shouldn't have much trouble walking his way on out.
And that's nice, because you want to be shoving in as a Bard. Ezreal right now getting harassed down. All of a sudden, they know whenever Stayos is on that bottom side of the map. They can't do any cheeky pathing around those wards, so...
Yeah, he'd do well to just bleed the Spirit dry and just sit on it and wait for the timer to run out.
Yeah. Completely agree. I mean, just take your empty out the bottom half of your jungle and disappear into Fog of War again. So you have to say, great job so far by INTZ. I mean, 1,000 gold at only 6 minutes in. Definitely nothing to scoff at.
No, they're doing really well. And
they know that Stayhouse is caught here.
He might be in trouble. There comes Revolta. Does get the knock-up. Jox is actually going to come through the stun. Vladimir is under tower, so he can burrow himself to safety. Kira's level 6 now, so they need to respect the Nether Grasp.
But one more time, he just gets forced out. Smurf is being consistently shoved in. Whenever he goes back to recall, it's going to mean he misses a lot of farm from Yang at the moment. So just across the board, really, INTZ getting these small advantages. And all tournament long, we've said early game small advantages will eventually turn into something bigger because these wildcard squads... They're not the most patient of people, Rogi. No. I mean, they do like to be ahead and force the tempo. And when that isn't the case, I mean, it's because you're the best in your region. When you come here, you're not used to honestly playing with an early game deficit. It does become hard. Revolta actually takes second blue for himself. Oh, this is a good move.
Yeah, here comes the Shen ulti in the bot. Taunt comes through onto Jox. There's a few more auto attacks. Exhaust goes down onto Miracle, but that's an exhausted Bard. Miracle picks up that one, but a lot of resources expended for just the support.
Yeah, hugely in the top lane all of a sudden is PvP Stayos that has to try and defend, and he has only got himself a Tiamat, so he honestly cannot do it.
Yeah.
Smurf going to have to teleport back to this lane. So whilst they get a kill out of it, he loses pretty much 11 CS. And is going to be in a deficit against Yang.
That's quite rough. We saw as well Kira actually trying to make his way down, so that gave Tokka some free time in the mid. And look at the CS discrepancy there. Getting himself further and further ahead, 20-something plus, and Yang does find the bad end of a trade, but it's fine for him. He's got a corrupting potion and 2 rings.
Yeah, exactly right. Also, he's just Echo, so Echo can just ult himself back to lane. Doesn't even need the teleport right now because of the shove advantage. He can honestly just walk there. They're looking to actually invade on a blue buff here.
Now would be the time to do it. They are quite strong. They do have the gold advantage, but
Malzahar has to walk the long way around. They also just have the Gragas ulti that you can just kind of peg at it.
So they want to try and do it. They volleyed that one. The sun comes down.
Opportunity was there.
Liquid actually got it.
Has flash. Could have maybe looked for the flash body slam engage, but decides to back away. They deny even more farm away from Kira in the mid lane. He's in a world of hurt right now. Hasn't got a second blue, so the big denial there. And it does become about this Ashe lane. All of a sudden, back to equal footing. Really need Miracle to start exploding on Ashe and bridge some of the weakness that's going to be elsewhere on the map.
You're wondering if Liquid had mana regen on that with a blue buff. He sure does now, so they should be able to keep themselves topped up should any of the Ezreal Bard poke come on through. Bard's still only level 5, so no Tempered Fate available just yet. Well, of course, Miracle and Liquid both have access to their own ultimates.
Yeah, 100%. Yang's starting to miss out on a couple of trades here, however, in the top lane. As you can see, Smurf really starting to bully, using that W passive incredibly well. However, in saying that, a lot of the damage that comes out of Echo is when your health gets lower. So if he can whittle you down, he starts winning out on the trades.
Looks like he did the ultimate trick to get back to lane, so he didn't have to expend teleport.
Yep, fantastic. This is why I like Echo into Shen. The argument for Shen is that you can stop the third proc on the W. So you tank the Q. As he dives in, you get your W down. You can't get the auto attack, then you trade incredibly well against him. On the flip side of that, Yang should have recalled there. On the flip side of that, if Echo ever gets an auto attack first, he can just throw out the Q and really start to whittle you down with that passive. Stayhos looking for another gank. Once again, very telegraphed, but
Smurf making his way on in. Yang does have summoners available. Flash
got him.
It does land, but that forces the ultimate. Now Yang might be in trouble. Still has a flash of his own. Goes through. Stayos goes in. There's the minion wave to block the Prey Seeker. Can't find it. Yang plays it very well.
And all of a sudden, Kira's being kind of caught out in the river. Does get a lot of damage down. Ultimate coming into the top lane. Stayos going to avoid that one. But Kira gets cut off from even more minions because he tried to help his top laner out.
He's really trying to make this Mal's roam work, but it's falling himself further and further behind. Tokka's doing a great job of just constantly pushing in this wave, keeping his CS discrepancy quite high in his favor.
Yeah, 100%. And good disciplined play out of Yang. Doesn't actually teleport back to the lane to save the minion wave, although now McCowan's in trouble.
Gets hit by the ulti. Lecrit flashes in for the stun, but that's going to force a flash of Macau's. But here comes a teleport, actually, from Yang in the bot, and a magical journey through the wall. Shen comes on in through Lecrit, gets the ultimate down in time, but that's 5 members of INTZ in the bot lane. Tempered Fate does lock them both up. Lecrit might be the sacrificial Taric for this one. Miracle survives, but that's 5 members.
And that is why you walk back to the lane, because all of a sudden Yang gets into that lane, gets a 2-man stun. It's layered perfectly with the CC. Now they can look potentially towards something like the Dragon, although it looks like they want to zone away for the first structure bonus because 2 members returned.
Doesn't look like they want to give it to him without a fight. Miracle might be in trouble. Forced to sidestep. A lot of ultimate abilities coming in. Yang comes on in, gets the stun, gets the E, and once again, INTZ playing this early game to perfection. Kira, he doesn't want to give it up without a fight. Here comes Stayhos. Where is the rest of the team? It's a 3v5 right now. They do have the turret. They want to force them back. Yang, he's going on and he's found Kira. He's found the stun. Has he found the kill? Revolta's got it now. Smurf in a world of hurt. Revolta just walking his way on out. Lecrit, he's walked back from the base. Can't find a stun. Yang gets himself another one, and now Lecrit in a 1 versus 4 under tower. They're looking for the tower. They might be looking for the kill straight after. He's trying to stun them up. He gets 1. Can he look for a second? But Tokka's just going to take him down.
Yeah, it certainly is. In the end, it is a huge victory for the INTZ lineup. I think it was 2 for 6 somehow. I mean, a respawn's coming in there, Rogi. So hard to track. But ultimately, it's a 4,000 gold lead, and the first structure bonus does go down.
Look, that was rough. And ANX did not want to give that tower up without a fight. But at that stage, it felt like they just needed to cut their losses and say, hey, all right, you out-rotated us. It's fine. But they just pushed that, and it ended up costing them.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Claret, he gets a trade. That was kind of cute, but when you give a kill over a Vladimir versus a kill with a Taric, I mean, I know where I would want to be. All of a sudden, they free up this mid lane, so Ezreal can just go to wave clear duty against what is a pretty weak Malzahar at this stage of the game. Everything's kind of looking up because a 1-3-1 set in. I think Vlad can honestly 2v1 the bottom lane. He's an absolute monster, although he's gone double magic resistance.
Fair enough. Well, he's 30 CS up over his opponent right now, so instead of deciding to get his AP scaling even further, just wants to eliminate all doubt in his mind.
Which part of the fight are we going to see? All right, this is the kind of final iteration. Yang sees an opportunity to get Kira, nails him. Of course, that execute damage coming out is just so high. Great flash body slam out of the Gragas there, and that means Revolta is going to be able to live. They keep going on the back end. I mean, Smurf gets taken down, and then it really is about focusing out the turret. And then Lecrit kind of challenges Joxer to a 1v1 in the midst of 4 people and wins somehow. Joxer probably should have just walked away, but still a great play coming out of the INTZ lineup.
Look, and you mentioned it was, what, a 2 for 6 respawn came on in through, so INTZ in a very commanding position, 3,000 gold in the lead, got themselves that first structure bonus as well as 4 kills up. Didn't get themselves a dragon off the back of that as they were quite low.
Did you see the basketball movie with Will Ferrell where they invented the alley-oop?
Yeah, it's like he was the son of a jazz singer or something.
Yes.
Oh, what's the name of it?
I can't remember, but
Anyway.
whenever they go for the first alley-oop, the referee's like, foul, double foul, no travel. That's what I felt like on the back end of that team fight, because like 6 people died. I was like, is that an ace? Ace plus 1?
It's a hexakill spawn.
Yeah, it's a hexakill apparently, but one person didn't get it. So
That's it,
yeah. I was looking for a word, but nothing came.
Oh, Yang is doing an incredible job on this Echo. 115 right now. Has the Stinger belt, actually. So going to be going for that Trinity Force first.
Yeah, exactly right. And he's definitely in a position to grab a Snowball Trinity Force. Also, you know, whenever you grab some early kills on that Dark Seal, it means that the potential of when you're incredibly tanky, you go towards the Mejai's. Works out nicely. Did have to sell a ring to get the combined cost. I kind of hate the increased combined cost.
Yeah.
It used to be 3. That was the best feeling when it was only 3 gold. Now, of course, a little bit higher, so every now and again you have to run back to lane with either triple components or, you know, just sell something to be able to pick it up.
So Miracle really struggling on this Ashe right now. He's been allowed to play Jin all tournament long. Tempered Fate not going to land.
Actually, really nice, though.
Safety. Joxers might still look for the stun. He's up against the wall, finds it, but can't seem to get
Echo.
too much more. Yang just out of range.
Yeah, that was so close. And they knew that that was going to happen because all of a sudden they were setting up on the bottom side. So good job for Smurf for not overcommitting to that turret. You can see that Rek'Sai tunnels are available if Stayhos wants to go back towards the top side of the map to help out. Instead, it looks like maybe a Rift Herald going to be a look at, although, you know, Tokka's on the other side of the map. Tokka's is a weak link, we were saying, for this INTZ lineup. Against Kira, who for me was the best mid laner in the tournament. Kind of having a really good game.
He's having a great time so far, just completely outlaning him. And it's all on the back of maybe a gang in the mid, though. Kira does use a flash. Ghost, rather.
Joxer kind of mind games him there. You auto-attack first, and then you throw out the Q. Instead, he just throws out the Q, looks for the meep slap instead. Maximum damage, but does not come through. And no one responding right now in the bottom lane. Now Smurf.
Stayos flashes his way to safety. Smurf forced to ult just in case.
I was going to say Smurf's in that hard position where he has to recall, but instead he just has to ult Stayhos, which is even worse. So no global pressure right now coming out of the Shen for a couple of seconds.
And this is why we call Revolta a superstar. Look at the plays and pressure he's been making across the map as INTZ set up for a fight in the mid lane, maybe.
Ooh, Ultimate actually burnt. Lecrit wants to turn this one.
Oh, can't seem to find the stun. He's so low. Tokka sees this as an opportunity to go back in, but the exhaust and the ultimate from Kira, who I think flashed immediately to cancel it, so maybe pushing his buttons a little too fast.
It was actually Tokka's.
Oh,
he has a QSS.
QSS.
Second item QSS comes up trump for Tokka's, so Kira flashed in to be able to lock him down. Exhaust, everything expended on Tokka's, and he was just like, I'm actually a tank Vladimir, guys. I have no idea what you want out of me. So that was nicely played. And he's not going towards Hextech Proto Belt either.
No.
He's actually going towards a Rylace Crystal Scepter, so very much a tank Vladimir. Joke paying off. Score. When really only the Ashe is the AD damage threat.
Yeah.
You can go for a build like this. He's just going to live forever.
Ended up paying dividends already as Kira couldn't seem to lock him down for too much longer. They get themselves the mid lane outer turret, so that extends their tower lead by another one, and they're looking for that top. And Smurf, you mentioned he's in a bad spot where he's forced to recall, and then he had to use ulti, so now he's forced to recall in an even worse spot.
And now Stayhos is in trouble.
That tower is not healthy enough to defend. The stuns just get layered on and on and on, and Yang picks him up.
And that's really nice play, actually, out of both Yang and Joxter. You can see that they're very practiced with this Bard, because a couple of times, you know, they've nailed the fact that, you know, as soon as Yang throws down that stun, Jockster uses the ultimate first, and when they come out, they're stunned up. And they also had Revolta throw Miracle through a cask into also an Echo stun earlier. So they're very used to playing with the Echo Bard Gragas combo. It looks like this INTZ roster.
Should be an easy secure on this Rift Herald as we're nearing the 20-minute mark. They've extended their gold lead by even further, 4,000 at the moment. INTZ, they're really starting to run away with this one.
Yeah, certainly are. And all of a sudden they can play around top side of the map. I mean, that's nice and easy because Dragon isn't available. They take away all the camps. Now they'll rotate their vision line. You presume towards Dragon, push up mid, push up bottom, look to secure another free objective. And one more time, one thing these IWC teams are fantastic at doing is playing with a lead and shutting out vision control. You can see all the deep wards one more time for INTZ this time being set up.
So how much longer do ANX need before this tank line is healthy enough to provide the front line that Miracle and Kira need?
That's really the big question, right? Because once again, there is heavy AP damage on the side of INTZ, but really because Macau is accelerated 3-0-4, that becomes a little bit longer. Because normally if it's in an even game, you're like, okay, build up some magic resistance. You can see, you know, Smurf going towards it. You presume that PvP Stayhouse is going to go towards that Cowl as well as his next item. All of a sudden, we can look to fight when we have our Spirit Visage on Smurf as well as a Cowl on PvP Stayhouse. But because this Ezreal pretty much is approaching a Blade of the Ruined King at 20 minutes, there's going to be a 3-item power spike. That gets delayed because all of a sudden you're looking at Randuin's, you're looking at Deadman Plate to really be able to make that viable. So unless Kira can catch out Macau, it's going to be a hard team fight to win.
And look, and we can see Miracle still just sitting on that Runarns at the moment.
The other thing that's important to note is that Jockster actually went for the QSS instead of Macau. What that means is if Macau gets ultied, Jockster ulties him. If Jockster gets ultied, he can QSS out. So there's really no good options right now for Kira to be able to lock down.
Smurf and Yang just trading blows back in here, but Smurf, he's had a rough time. He's just been in a constant state of, I have to recall, I have to teleport. Yang, stop pushing this top lane, but Infernal Dragon has been taken here for INTZ. They get themselves another advantage here. Yeah,
certainly do, and they're going to go towards Mountain. So I think that's the second game in the row. I want someone to do the math on it. Mountain, Infernal, Mountain. That has to be such low percentage for 2 games in a row.
No, it's good, though. It enables them to excel their lead even further, opposed to just a bunch of Cloud Drakes here. So it's good for INTZ, bad, of course, for ANX, who their structures have been falling quite fast.
The aesthetic Drake, Cloud Drake, of course, it gives you some...
some cool little lines.
Yeah, some tails. As you can see that Macau, Revolta, and Jockster are trying to siege up this mid lane. Actually doing a nice job of staying nice and safe.
Oh, perfect timing on the Arcane Shift. Gets himself to safety and doesn't even need the racing stripes that the Cloud Drake does. He's fast anyway.
So, proving the point. I mean, now stuck in a 1-3-1. Claw's well and truly set in, and because they're pushing up, I mean, there's really no wave clear problems. You can see 2 levels difference between Kira as well as Tokka's. And ultimately, because Tokka's is just a tank, he can just sit here, and they're going one more time.
They want to fight this one. Revolta does get knocked up, stunned as well by Tarek, but they don't really have anything to pressure it now. Tokka's, once again, forces the lane up, and Kira, he needs to be with his team, but he also needs to catch the waves, but he's just falling further and further behind. 60 CS at this stage.
Yeah, 100%. That's what the story is about, right? The fact that they looked for the engage there, but all of a sudden it's just this chip damage that's being placed as the deep vision in the jungle. Ultimate going to be thrown out here. Miracle gets chunked. Stayhorse goes in, but Tokka's is here first.
A nice double stun. Crit throws down the ultimate. Here comes Shen. Can he get in the fight? A beautiful explosive cast. Knocks him all away. The disengage from INTZ is real, but now they want to fight. Revolta gets for the body. So
oh my God.
Tokka's over the wall. Can't seem to find the kill on Miracle. He's very, very low, but Tokka's just darting in and out of the fight. The respect for the Nether Grasp. Keeping him at bay, but he's got the QSS as well.
Rogi, that's a 4v5. Yang's just like, guys, why are you fighting? I'm sitting top lane trying to take a turret. They're going to get 2 instead. So Toggers burns double summoner spells over a wall, just misses out on a kill, but at the end of the day, the ship sailed. 2 turrets go down.
This is looking so damn good for INTZ. 8,000 gold in the lead and corralling the members of ANX around like sheep to a cattle dog at the moment.
Yeah, and once again, this is why you don't write teams off in day number 1. INTZ, I mean, after they lost the line, everyone's like, this Brazilian team always chokes. If they beat ANX, they're equal second one more time. I mean, and Lions definitely showing that they're the superstar team to contend with. If ANX drops this one, that's against Dark Passage, that's against INTZ. All of a sudden, Chiefs and ANX, especially if Dark Passage win the next game, a little bit of trouble.
That's exactly right. And who'd have thought we would get here right now? Because every other game, ANX have been looking dominating. This seems to be the first time they've really been challenged, and INTZ seem to have the answer. They ban away the Jin, they ban away the Brand, they take that Bard for Joxer, who has been playing it to utter perfection right now, constantly getting those beautiful cosmic bindings as well as the clutch Tempered Fate. So,
and once again, this tournament is really about coming first and second. Yeah. I mean, you just want to make it to Worlds. From there, you can boot camp really hard, look to have a good, successful Worlds campaign. So INTZ, because the Chiefs are right behind them, they don't have the head-to-head, actually pretty much securing with this victory the fact that they're not going to have to play against Lion, which right now is pretty much like winning the grand final in itself, because that team looks freaking awesome.
Look, they look absolutely incredible, and INTZ, they're playing up to that standard right now. They've been able to get themselves an early advantage and use that to secure so many other resources around the map, nearing a 10,000 gold lead at only 25 minutes in. ANX forced into a bad position. It was fight or flight, and they're flighting right now.
Yeah, certainly are. They fought a little bit earlier, however.
They tried.
Which didn't really work out for them. Yang steals away a blue buff, and you know, you can just see QSS has picked up across the board. Now Blade of the Ruin King finished up by Macau. So that question of, you know, when can they fight is going to be at least another 10 minutes, realistically, now that it's a 9,000 gold before ANX can look anywhere near a team fight.
Miracles at least got his Infinity Edge, so he's going to start outputting some damage, and
he's a full item behind. I mean, I know that Ezreal's item build is cheaper, but that's a little bit ridiculous.
He's completely finished his Muramana as well, so we'll have that bonus damage on Q, as well as Bork, as well as the Frozen Gauntlet and the Ionian Boots of Elasticity. 1 Q lands, it's just going to follow up with one before an auto attack can come out.
Yeah, it's certainly the case, and you can see that they're playing with vision really well. I mean, they've got their vision line all the way pushed up. Revolta's swept multiple times, and now they're looking for the pick. They might actually just start this one up, realistically. I mean, Stehos finally coming in, but still only a bait.
Looks like the Prey Seeker not going to find anyone, but the Farsight Orb does reveal 3 members in the pit right now. Prey Seeker onto Macau, but INTZ, they're playing at the patient game. They don't want to...
2 members have just recalled, however.
Do they have vision on? Another Prey Seeker comes on
I mean, I think you just started up. They can see the Ashe in the top lane. They can see Malzahar mid.
Yeah, they're going to get vision of Shen in the bot soon, and there they go.
Yeah, they've started up. I mean, Tockers now just plays goalie. He's only looking to keep people away. It's already at 5,000 health.
Well, Stehos, he's trying to make his way on through. Here comes Kiri, here comes Lecrit, but everyone goes through the journey right now, but there's an ulti over the wall. Revolta, he's going to fall. The Tempered Fate keeps him safe for now, but Joxer goes down as well. Smurf in the back, doing what he can. Yang as well, trying to get in on a Miracle. He's taking him down. He's got a sight set onto Kira now, but Tockers, he may go down. Can he get another Q off? No! Smurf takes him down, and this is looking good for ANX. They're winning this fight so far, but Yang and Macau, the carries,
there's just no damage left. All of a sudden, I mean, it's just going to be Ezreal looking to rip through them.
A taunt comes through. It's immediately QSS'd away. Don't think they have the chase potential to take out Macau, but ANX, they answer with a very convincing fight.
And you see Lecrit put his hands in the air as he's recalling, take a bow, because he nearly just carried that team fight from a 9,000 gold deficit, and they get 3 really key shutdowns there. So it is going to slim that lead back to about 7,000, and ANX showing that with this team composition, they still have fight in them. Gold going over to the appropriate members. All of a sudden, Randuin's nearly finished up. It is a GA for PvP Stehos. As we have another look at this, they started up, they go over the wall, and this ultimate is just perfect because Stehos lives for just enough time. And they're able to kill 2 members before the fight really even begins. Tokka's going down really is the icing on the cake here. But another Mountain Drake is going to be picked up regardless by INTZ.
There will be a third one on the way, so if INTZ can get another one under their belt, that Baron will be done even quicker. But ANX, again, a great fight. But after the dust has settled, they are able to get themselves a few more items here and there. You can see Miracle forced to pick up that Executioner's Calling just to deal with the Vlad healing. They were able to kill him in that fight. So there are still prospects for this ANX lineup.
Yeah, it certainly is. And as we said, give it 10 more minutes. They should actually be able to go 1v1 because Ash certainly does put out the damage late game. INTZ is still looking for the fight.
Revolta's up quite far. Tarakoldi's off cooldown, Smurfs. At the bot side. Yeah. Stand United available as well as Teleport. No TP for Yang this time. He did a great job in that last fight of completely denying Miracle any damage output. But he got the ulti off. So did Kira.
But for the first time, really, it looks like the ANX team is starting to push up, get back some vision. They don't have the quickest Baron, although, that's only because Kira is behind the clock. As soon as he gets any items, they're going to be able to rip through that. He's just ADCS down.
Spooky Ghosts were used by Joxer to try and catch out anyone, but it feels like INTZ, they've slowed down.
Oh, misses the Tempered Fate.
They've slowed down, but their foot is still on the acceleration, just not at as fast pace. I'll get there. Smurf just going to be solo pushing out that bot. Does have the ability to join his team, and I feel like INTZ, they just want to wait for Yang to get that teleport available.
Yeah, that's probably the case. They're also looking for some item break points. LDR would be fantastic here if they could be able to grab it on Macau, as well as a Void Staff would be really needed right now on Tockers. I mean, they can still probably blow up the backline, but when you have a look at Miracle, even picking up some magic resistance for himself now in the form of that Hex Drinker. So it's getting a little bit harder to execute upon, and this is what we said. Given the fact that Macau is the only person with any AD in this lineup, pretty much you can stack MR and just kill him.
Well, just look at all the Quicksilver sashes that INTZ have bought themselves. That's one on every single member except Macau. So he's got a target on his head, and Kira's going to be zoning in on that one. But if he stays far enough away, just pokes with Q, they'll never really be a threat.
And now maybe this time they can regain the vision control that they were looking for earlier. They need to be more patient and not move this time, although it looks like they've caught Stayhorse.
Well, he might be in trouble. Does have the Guardian Angel available. Revolta with the barrel knocks him back in. Ulti from Smurf is coming through. Can he get any of the clutch taunts? Not going to find it.
They don't even get the GA in the end. Stayhorse is just a little bit too tanky at this stage of the game. However, they have chunked out the jungler. They know that the ultimate is on cooldown, and they will burn through this Baron with double Mountain Drake.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're going to have to use a Hawk Shot or a Scouring Orb to find something. There's no chance that they're going to get this one away, down to about 1,000 health. Smite it away. Actually, Joxer picks that one up, but chunk out the jungler, get the Baron, sound strategy.
Yeah, it certainly is. They didn't overcommit on it. I mean, they had a lot of flashes available, but in the end, as soon as the cast was down and Stayhorse lived, they just let him walk away. But all of a sudden, they've got the Baron buff. They've got minion waves prepped. Probably look to go bottom, I would assume. No Void Staff coming out of Vladimir. Oh, I really don't agree with that, Talkers. I mean, when you have a look at the lineup, there is just so much magic resistance. Locket, Spirit Visage top lane, Hex Drinker, as well as GA. You're really not going to be doing the damage that your team needs.
Definitely staggering their builds here for that magic resistance. You can see Macau finally picking his own QSS up. So Joxon maybe could have gone for the Mikhail's Crucible instead, but opting for a QSS of his own, I guess, when he has the goal to play with.
Mikhail's doesn't stop suppression, unfortunately. Just stuns, so that's why he's gone with that one. As I said, he's just looking to ult it out anyway, I believe.
They have a lot of answers.
Yeah, they certainly do. They have about 7 answers at the moment.
Going to be making their way onto this bot lane in a tower. Baron-empowered minions. Unfortunately, the Voidlings are no match for INTZ and their powered-up play here.
And, even though Yang has done a terrific job, he has been pretty evenly matched from Smurf. Smurf has done a good job around the map of really getting going.
10,000 gold down, 11,000 actually. Keep in mind that ANX, they haven't even got themselves a tower yet. And that's 6 towers in favor of INTZ.
Yeah, it's about to be 7.
Oh, Steos does get stunned up, but the focal point is that tower. They want to take it down. Lecrit can't seem to find the stun. The next wave should be enough in the top. In the picture-in-picture, we see these guys just 1v1ing up there, trying his darndest to get some damage down on this tower. Is Yang. He does have the siege minion to help him out, and there's nothing Smurf can really do about that because Yang's playing bodyguard.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Tokka's walked mid lane up as well. Kira had to go respond to that. Now he's back.
Yep,
but that should be turret falling.
There it goes. Macau picks that one up with the help of the minions. Now that's an open inhibitor, and there's no way that ANX are looking to defend this one as INTZ, they walk themselves out.
Yeah, exactly right. So inhibitor goes down. All of a sudden, they only have 2 waves to play with. Going to look to march the mid lane up at this time. Macau gets chunked. This might be the fight.
Oh, he goes low. Stun coming in through. There's the ulti from Stay Host Lecrit. He gets the ulti off onto a few members, but that's a beautiful Tempered Fate completely shutting down the backline. Stay Host trying to find the kill on Revolta. He gets it now.
Yang's
Macau
still going
in
top.
Full retreat. Yang, he wants to get that top lane inhibitor, and now they've realized what's happening, and that means that they want to turn around and fight. Tokka's getting the constant slowdown onto Smurf. This should be a free inhibitor for Yang.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. So even though they take away Revolta, still, I guess, winning out on that exchange here, INTZ. Yeah. But now Yang caught out a little bit.
They're not in the top lane with him. You're in the top lane with him. He's just brawling them right now.
Absolute monster. So at the end of the day, they walk away, double inhibitors down off the Baron buff. They're going to be able to grab themselves the Mountain Drake. Really nicely played one more time from INTZ. That's going to lead into pretty much a 41-minute Elder. With triple Mountain and single Infernal. That's not a bad
no, it's a good mix.
Hand to be dealt.
It's a good little lucky bag that they got.
You know, the Volcano, 3 Mountains and an Infernal.
That's exactly right. It's a little bit of lava, so maybe a dormant one for now. When they get that Elder, might erupt for them after that one. But that just means that any objective, if there were towers remaining, I would say any towers here, but they've only got 3 left.
Yeah, exactly right. But what they do have, they will rip through. Still looking for their first turret here is ANX. We keep going back to it, but 12,000 gold lead. If you give him 8 turrets, that looks much smaller at this stage. But
it is what it is, right? They're not finding any way to even leave their base right now. They're being pushed by 2 waves of super minions, and INTZ grouping as 5 in the mid lane, looking to get themselves that trifecta of inhibitors.
This is smart from INTZ. I mean, the longer you leave this, the easier it is to just stall out the game and use those double inhibitors as pretty much free farm. So instead, marching straight back up mid lane. They won't overcommit until the creeps are back in the base. You can see that Tokka's is actually marching them in now. But the idea is definitely right from INTZ. They've done a better job at executing this time around.
Good stun on to Stay.
Oh, Macau gets chunked again.
A lot of damage for his troubles. Does have the Blade of the Ruined King, so find some jungle minions, heal up. Might be an ideal plan for him right now, but he's making his way back in, getting about 60 to 70 health right now per auto. Yang, he's gone in onto Lecrit.
Half health him. Far out. That is so much damage coming out of Yang at this stage of the game. You can see Lecrit kind of scratching his head, wondering what went wrong there.
Trying to work towards a frozen heart right now, but he's still quite a bit of gold off. Smurf delegated to top lane cleanup duties, and super minions starting to make their way in the bot lane. Tokka's holding a good flank position. Here comes Steos. Immediately gets body slammed out of the tunnel. Ulti coming through from Smurf, but look how low Steos already is. There's a Tempered Fate. It's hit Steos. It's hit Miracle. That gives Lecrit enough time to get the ultimate off, but they get the tower. Tokka's in the back line looking for something.
Kira.
Kira back into the fight. He's trying to find an ultimate. Can't really do it. He's stunned up. He's going to get taken straight down here. Yang picks up that one. Miracle. No hope of survival. And look at INTZ. They're firing on all cylinders. A double kill for Yang. He's looking for another one. Macau just straight up 1v1s Lecrit. No surprises there. And INTZ completely shut down ANX.
Yeah, they certainly do. And that means that the top of the tables are getting very interesting, Rogi.
Oh.
37 minutes, but it was a very one-sided affair. INTZ definitely showing up to play. You see Revolta finally for the first time with a huge grin on his face.
Look, and they deserve it. They played so damn well from the word go. That Ezra, I don't even think he died that game. I'll have to check back later, but such immaculate play from all 5 members. It was kind of a shaky Baron fight, but at that point they had about 3 mistakes before they were actually on par, so they make half a mistake and then just skyrocketed from then on out.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that Ezreal really was just too safe. So INTZ definitely walk away with a very clean victory. I like the Ezreal pickup. Said it at the start of the game. They had a lot of consistent damage out of other sources, and late game he was always going to come online. So respect to INTZ for picking that one up, and a much needed win against Albus NoX. I mean, Albus NoX would have loved to walk away with that. They're pretty much already guaranteed for playoffs, I think. Although we can go into some weird 4- and 3-way tie situations now. But the start of this game was just so damn impressive. I mean, getting Macau snowballed certainly was a good thing.
Oh yeah, the Revolt did a great job of constantly being in the right place at the right time, and this is kind of where it all went wrong for ANX, trying to fight 3 versus 5 for this tower, 6 for 2, I think.
Yeah, what you haven't seen is Lecrit died a while ago. He's already walking back. And then Miracle died, and then everyone else dies, and Lecrit dies again. So certainly was an interesting fight. I mean, he does win the support 1v1 right here. Which is always a good thing, but apart from that, I mean, not many other positives.
Now, I wonder if he was Brand, if he would have killed them all there.
Nah, I don't think so. He didn't have his ultimate available.
True. Look at that. This is the fight that ANX actually came back in to make it look a little bit more competitive, but sure, they were able to kill the tanks, but look at Yang. He's just doing absolute work. Miracle, I don't think, got off a single auto attack, only volleys at that stage.
Yeah, exactly right.
He'd already done his job, so he goes down.
And Macau, you know, at this stage of the game was absolutely massive as well. So even though the tanks survive, I mean, if this had been a protracted engage, like if they keep going here, Macau probably just kites them all out and, you know, goes to town. You can see that there is a reason that they all back away. Macau was an absolute monster at that stage.
Look, and the Tempered Fates constantly locking down Miracle. Even with the Taric ulti, it felt like they were taking damages. Revolta, Yang, such a good front line. Gave so much room for Macau to really spread his wings.
Yeah, it certainly did. And, you know, one more time they alley-oop into the parallel conversion. So just got to say that this Gragas Echo combo certainly looked fantastic. Yang was able to go 1v1 with the Gnar in the Chiefs versus INTZ game. And, you know, even was able to shut down Alwind in the Dark Passage game. So I think that it's very fair to say that Yang is quickly showing himself as one of the best top laners in this tournament.
Look, and that's exactly right. But now the top of the table is super competitive. Maybe the most competitive we've seen the IWC in quite a long time. These guys all fighting for that coveted top 2 spots.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, Lion had a step ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're nearly untouchable now. What are they, 6-0?
6-0. They do have Albus NoX as their last game. So,
but Albus NoX has now lost a couple. So, you know, I don't think anyone can catch them because that's
6-0, right?
Yeah,
that's the dream.
6-1, that's all you can end. So at the end of the day, I think that that's a really well-fought play game for INTZ. Helps Lion out a lot in that regard, and looking forward to seeing if INTZ can continue this trend.
Look, and what an incredible showing from INTZ. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we got much more